Hello, Dr. Terry Lynch here, medical doctor, accredited psychotherapist, best-selling mental health author, creator of mental health courses for the general public and for mental health professionals. I want to speak today briefly about what we describe as perfectionism. Perfectionism is regularly talked about and considered to be a problem, and certainly this way of operating the world does cause problems. That's true. However, in order to understand something, we need to make sense of it. In order to understand perfectionism, we need to understand why somebody would adopt that way of operating, way of being, as an ongoing pattern in their lives. As with any coping strategy, self-protection strategy, which is what perfectionism fundamentally is, there is what I describe as a rightness to it. The person is selecting this way of operating for reasons that are important to them. So rather than setting out to see perfectionism primarily as a problem, we need to understand why, to the person, it is, to some degree at least, from their perspective, a solution. So the next question then is, what does perfectionism solve for that person? People who adopt this way of operating in the world tend to have one thing in common. They've experienced quite a lot of wounding in the world. Perfectionism is a response to this wounding. An intended gain, one of the reasons why somebody adopts this way of operating, is an attempt to diminish anxiety. Somebody with a great deal of self-doubt within them, who feels unsafe, who doubts their ability to initiate, see something through to completion, as they initiate and carry through the first few steps, they're going to experience a lot of anxiety, which is a very unpleasant feeling. So it's not surprising that they will come up with, perhaps to some degree subconsciously, various strategies to diminish this very unpleasant anxiety. And perfectionism fulfills this purpose. If I've had considerable wounding in the world, and I doubt myself, then adopting perfectionism serves me in some ways. By setting the bar so high, by creating Mount Everests in front of me on a regular basis, I make it far less likely that I will initiate, carry through something that will generate a lot of anxiety in me. So I'm serving a purpose for myself. A person who's had a great deal of wounding in the world, their priorities tend to change. One of their main priorities now becoming, I need to minimize my risk-taking at all costs. So initiating, carrying something through to completion, for that person, that is seen as major risk-taking. And that's why the person gets such anxiety when they initiate and carry through the first few steps. So an intended consequence is the diminishment of anxiety. Another related way in which perfectionism serves the person is that by setting the bar so high, if and when I do complete something, and of course I will complete far fewer things as a result of this perfectionism, which, as I mentioned, is actually serving one of my now main priorities, which is I need to minimize risk-taking. Then if the thing is perfect or close to perfect when I've completed it, then I am diminishing the chances of any repercussions, of criticism, of rejection, of disapproval, all of which would hurt me greatly. So again, in this way, perfectionism is serving a purpose. It's an attempted solution. Like all coping strategies, self-protection strategies that we humans may adopt on a regular basis, the unintended consequences generally greatly outweigh the intended consequences, the reasons why we adopt these behaviors in the first place. In the case of perfectionism, the unintended consequences are very significant over time. We don't complete a lot of things that would enhance us in our lives. We put more pressure on ourselves by postponing, procrastinating. We tend to live more unfulfilled lives because we're not initiating and carrying things through to completion. However, despite all of that, it's still true to say that somebody who adopts perfectionism as one of their main ways of operating in the world is honoring what they have come to see as one of their main, possibly their main priority, which is, I need to minimize risk at all costs because I've come to associate risk-taking with me walking unprotected into a lion's den. To coincide with an article that I've written for the British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy's Journal, Healthcare Counselling and Psychotherapy Journal, their October 2025 edition, on working psychotherapeutically with people given a psychiatric diagnosis, I'm in the process of creating a course on this topic for mental health professionals such as psychologists, psychotherapists, counsellors, on working psychotherapeutically with people given a psychiatric diagnosis. If you would like to be updated about when this course becomes available, it's actually a series of courses. The first one will be on depression, which I'm expecting will be available around October 2025. If you'd like to be updated as to when that course becomes available, comment or message me below and I will make sure that you are informed when this course becomes available. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.